So let us start this session. In the last session, we have finished with the problems on analysis of beam, right? So in this lecture, we'll be starting with the two-dimensional elements, okay? And we'll be analyzing the two-dimensional elements. For the previous lectures, we have covered the assembly problems, we have covered the truss problems, we have covered the beam problems. So all those problems belongs to the one-dimensional elements. Now for this lecture onwards, we'll be starting with the two-dimensional elements. So in order to analyze such sort of two-dimensional geometry, okay, we should understand or we should know the shape functions. Okay, so for that we should know the shape functions. So we will derive first the shape functions for two-dimensional elements. Shape functions for two-dimensional elements. Okay, see, one-dimensional element which we have seen, it's only the line element. Okay, one-dimensional element was only the line element. Okay, but when it comes to the two-dimensional elements, okay, we might have different geometries, right? Like triangular elements, okay, rectangular elements, square elements. So all those elements belongs to the two-dimensional elements. Okay, so we will see one by one. We will try to derive the shape functions for all those elements. Okay, so a broad term I've written as we will see now the shape functions for two-dimensional elements. Okay, so let us start with the first element. Okay, let us start with the first element, and I will just write down these as shape function for three-noded, okay, three-noded a triangular element, three-noded triangular element. Okay, so what we'll do now, we will first derive what are the shape functions for three-noded triangular element. Okay, so let us have a triangle. Obviously the triangle will be having three nodes. So for such sort of triangle, we will see the shape functions. Okay, so let us start. Okay, so I will just first draw the diagram. Okay, so let us see, this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate. Okay, so inside, so this is basically the Cartesian coordinate system what we are saying. Okay, this is basically the Cartesian coordinate system what we are saying. Okay, now let us consider this triangle. Okay, let us consider this triangle, okay, which is having this node number 1, this is node number 2, and this is node number 3, right? So these are the nodes. Okay, these are the nodes, or you can call it simply, these are the corners of the triangle. Okay, so we will call those as nodes. Okay, so every node will have the x and y coordinate. So I'll just mention this as x1, y1, okay, x2, y2, and x3, y3, right? x1, y1, x2, y2, and x3, y3, right? So see, this is node number 1 with coordinate x1, y1. This is node number 2 with coordinate x2, y2. This is node number 3 with coordinate x3, y3, right? Now let us start deriving the shape functions. Now you might feel the problem. Okay, so why we are studying it? Okay, let us see. If I give you the displacement at node number 1, if I give you the displacement at node number 2, similarly, if I give you the displacement at node number 3, and if I ask you what is the displacement at the point, let us this point, okay, which is lying inside this triangle. Okay, if I ask you to calculate what is the displacement at a point which is lying inside a triangle, so how will calculate that? For that we require the shape functions. This is not only about the displacement. If similarly, if I give you the temperature at node 1, temperature at node 2, temperature at node 3, okay, and if I ask you to calculate what is the temperature at a point which is lying inside a triangle, okay, so similarly you can calculate. Similarly, if I give you the pressure at point 1, pressure at point 2, pressure at point 3, if I ask you what is the pressure at a point which is lying inside a triangle, so for that we require the shape functions. Okay, so that is the reason why we are going to see the shape functions. Okay, this is basically the two-dimensional element. Previously we have seen it only for one-dimensional element, that was a line element. Okay, so line is a one-dimensional element for which we have seen. Okay, and also we have solved a problem on the lines. Okay, So let us start deriving the shape function for this particular element. Okay, so in order to start deriving the shape functions, okay, we should write down one approximate solution. So I'll just write down let u is equal to C0 plus C1x. Try to understand. This only term which we have written when we have derived the shape function for line element. Okay, so when we have considered it to be 1D element, that is line element, we have written the approximate solution till this term only, that is C0 plus C1x. Okay, but now it's a triangular element. Okay, so see this approximate solution, I'll just write down be an approximate solution. Let this be an approximate solution. Okay, so you see this is the approximate solution which you can consider only when it's a line element. Okay, so when we are considering it as a line element, okay, in that case we can take only this much term, that is C0 plus C1x. Okay, but this is not a line element. See, you might remember it. Okay, so when I've taken the line element and if I start deriving the shape function for line element, I need to start writing this approximate solution. But this is not a line, it's a triangle, right? So one more additional term which I'll take it, let into C2y. Okay, let me call this as equation number 1, and this be an approximate solution because we are dealing now in the 2-dimensional element. Okay, so its second dimension also we need to consider. Okay, so for that I introduced one constant, and that is C2, and that is multiplied by its second dimension, right? So this approximate solution we have written it for triangular element, that is 2D element. When you write down this much only, it is for 1-dimensional. Okay, that is basically the line element, where equation is y is equal to mx plus c, like that. Y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, when it is a line, but this is now a triangle. Okay, so which we should consider its second dimension also. Okay, so that has been written by C2 into y. Is there anyone having doubt in this regards? Let me know. Is there any having doubt in this regards? You can respond immediately. Is there anyone having doubt? Okay. So see, now see, we are interested to evaluate the values of C0, C1, and C2. Right? We should know the value of C0, C1, and C2. Once we have the value of C0, C1, and C2, we will put this into this equation, right? We'll put this into the equation. So for deriving the values of C0, C1, and C2, okay, what we will do is we will impose the boundary condition. Okay, so we will impose the boundary condition. So if you talk about node 1, at node 1, okay, at node 1, obviously what is the value of displacement? At displacement at node 1 is u1, okay, because it's the node 1. So displacement will be u1. Similarly, what is the x coordinate at node 1? It's x1. Similarly, y coordinate at node 1 is y1, right? Simple term. At node 1, displacement is u1. Okay, x coordinate is x1 and y coordinate is y1. That is only region, right? So when you put it like this, what you'll get? Okay, u is equal to u1 is equal to C0 plus C1 into x is x1 plus C2 into y is y1. Y is y1, right? So this is we are written for node number 1. So for node number 1, it is u1, x1, y1, right? So let us call this as equation number 2. Okay, now what I'll do, okay, I'll just write down one more time, okay, for node number 2. Okay, so at node number 2, okay, what is the displacement? Displacement at node 2 is u2, x coordinate at node 2 is x2, y coordinate at node 2 is y2, right? So let us put these values. So u is equal to u2 is equal to C0, u is u2, C0 plus C1 into x is x2 plus C2 into y is y2. Okay, so let us call this as equation number 3. We have written for node number 2 now. Okay, let us write down for node number 3. Okay, so I'll just mention this as at node 3. At node 3, obviously displacement is equal to u3. Okay, x is equal to x3 and y is equal to y3, right? Y is equal to y3. So what we will get? U is equal to u3 is equal to C0 plus C1 into x is x3 plus C2 into y is y3. You can check it. At node 1, u1 x1 y1. At node 2 is u2 x2 y2. At node 3, u3 x3 y3. Okay, so basically for 3 nodes, I'm getting 3 equations. I'm getting 3 equations, right? Now what we'll do, okay, we will try to combine the equation 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I'll just try to combine those equations. Yes. So I'll just try it. So I'll just combining equation 2, 3, and 4. I'll just combine those equations 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now you just pay the attention. Okay, let us see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is u1, u2, u3. I'll just write down this in terms of u1, u2, u3. Okay, u1, u2, u3. See, u1, u2, u3 is equal to, now you can see C0, C1, and C2, they are common, right? C0, C1, and C2, they are common. So I'll just write down there here only. C0, C1, and C2, they're common terms. You can check it. C0, C1, and C2, they're common term. Now, what is the remaining? C0. Okay. So, what is the coefficient of C0? It's 1. Try to understand. Coefficient of C0 is 1. So, it is 1 into C0. Then, coefficient of C1 is, check it. See, coefficient of C0 is 1. So, it is 1 into C0. Coefficient of C1 is x1. Okay. So I'll just write down this as x1 into C1 plus coefficient of C2 is y1. Okay, so this is y1. Okay, so 1 into C0, x1 into C1. Okay, C2 into y1. You can get one equation number 1, right? See, if you need to calculate the value of u1, it is 1 into C0, that is C0, then C1 x1 plus C2 y1. You will get equation number 1. Hello. On the similar hand, I'll just write down these as the 1 x2 y2 and this is 1 x3 y3. 1 x3 y3. Just check it. 1 x3 y3. Is that okay? See, 1 x1 y1, 1 x2 y2, 1 x3 y3. Okay, so this is how I written in the form of, okay, combining. Yeah, when I combine it, I'll get some equation like this, right? Is it okay? Yes or no? Is that okay with this one? You can respond, right? Now see, but see, we are interested in which value? As I told you before, we want C0, C1, and C2. Okay, we want C0, C1, and C2. So I'll just write down the value of C0, C1, and C2 as C0, C1, and C2 is given by, I need this value, C0, C1, and C2 is given by, okay, when you bring this matrix on this side, it becomes inverse, okay. So I'll just write down this as 1 x1 y1, 1 x2 y2, 1 x3 y3, okay, it's inverse, okay. When you bring this matrix here, it inverse into u1, u2, and u3. Into u1, u2, and u3, right? So this is what we'll get, right? So if I need to get the value of C0, C1, and C2, okay, which are required to put here, I should calculate the inverse of this matrix and I should multiply it by displacement, right? So this is how we'll get the values of constants. Okay, now see, so what I'll do, I'll just call this as matrix A. Okay, I'll just call this as matrix A, right? So let me write down this once again. C0, C1, and C2, okay, is given by, I will call this matrix as A. So this is A inverse. Okay, this matrix I will call it as A. So this is A inverse into U1, U2, U3, into U1, U2, U3, right? Okay, I'll just, instead of carrying this matrix, okay, I'll just call this as matrix A, right? Now what I required inverse of matrix A, right? What I required the inverse of matrix A. So if we want to calculate inverse of any matrix, it is given by 1 by mod of A into adjoint of, right? 1 by mod of A into adjoint of. This is how you used to calculate the inverse of the matrix, right? 1 by mod of A into adjoint of. Okay, so again, for calculating inverse, okay, we require mod, we require adjoint of A, right? We require mod, we require adjoint of A, right? So let us start with the adjoint of A. Okay, how to calculate adjoint of A? So adjoint of A, okay, adjoint of A is given by, how you used to calculate? It is given by cofactors of minors cofactors of minors of A transpose. Cofactors of minors of A transpose. Okay. See, in order to calculate inverse, we require 1 by mod of A into adjoint of. Now, for calculating adjoint of A, we require cofactors of minors of A transpose, right? So let us calculate first A transpose. Let us calculate first A transpose. See, this is our A matrix, right? This is A matrix. So when you take its transpose, what happens? The rows becomes columns. Okay, rows becomes the columns, or column becomes the rows, like. Okay. So just write down this as, okay, 1 1 1. Okay, so this one, this is a column which becomes row. So 1 1 1, then x1 x2 x3, x1 x2 x3, and this is y1 y2 and y3. This is y1 y2 and y3. This is y1 y2 y3, right? So this is how we'll calculate A transpose, right? A transpose. Now we'll take its minor. Okay, let us take a minor. So I'll just write down here minor of A transpose. Okay, let us take its minor. Okay, so for taking the minor, okay, how to take its minor? All of you know this one. Okay, I need the minor of this element. Okay, so for this element, okay, what I will do for this element, I'll just cancel this row and this column. Try to understand. I'll cancel this row, this column. So what is happening? X2 y3. Try to understand. X2 y3 minus x3 y2. Okay, try to understand. X2 y3. See, for this one, I need to write down element here. So I will cancel this row and this column. So it is x2 y3 minus x3 y2 minus x3 y2. See, x2 y3 minus x3 y2. Okay, so this has been over for this one. Next, go for this one. So we'll cancel this row and this column, right? We'll cancel. See, for this one, we'll cancel this row and this column. So what is remaining? X1 y3. Okay, x1 y3. So this is x1 y3 minus x3 y1 minus x3 y1, right? Next, for this one, this row, this column gets cancelled. X1 y2. See, x1 y2 minus x2 y1 minus x2 y1, right? Now let us go for this one. For this element, right? This row and this column gets cancelled. What is remaining? You can check this. Y3 minus y2. Okay, this into this is y3 minus y2. This is y3 minus y2. Right? Like for this element, this row, this column gets cancelled. Y3 minus y1. Y3 minus 1. Right? For this row, this column gets cancelled. Right? Y2 minus y1. Y2 minus y1. Next, go for this one. This row, this column gets cancelled. X3 minus x2. X3, see for this one. This row, this column gets cancelled. X3 minus x2. Right. For this one now, this row and this column gets cancelled. X3 minus x1. X3 minus so this called x2 minus x1. X2 minus x1. Is that okay? All of you. See, this is already seen in mathematics. Okay, how to calculate inverse. Okay, so this is what we got. It's minor. First we calculate transpose, then we get minor. You can check factors of minors of A transpose. Okay, so I'll just mention this as now cofactors of minors of A transpose. Cofactors of minors of A transpose. Right? Now let us calculate this one. Okay. So how to calculate this? You can see this. Okay. If you just see this one. Okay. First row. See what is the location of this element? It's 1 1. First row, first column. So 1 plus 1, it's 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay. So that is even number. So we will keep it as it is. Try to understand. X2 y3 minus x3 y2. We will keep it as it is. Right? Now go for this one. Okay. So this is first row, second column. First row, second column. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, which is odd number. So we need to give minus sign. So this is minus sign. Minus x1 y3 minus x3 y1. Right. Now let us go here. Okay, it's first row, third column. first row, third column. So 1 plus 3 is 4, which is even number. So we'll keep it as it is. Okay. So this is x1, y2 minus x2, y1. Okay, minus x2, y1. Next. Okay, this is second row, first column. Second row, first column. So 2 plus 1 is 3. That is odd. So I'll just give minus sign. So minus y3 minus y2. Next. Second row, second column. That is 2 plus 2 is 4. So I'll keep it as it is. Next. Second row, third column. So 2 plus 3 is 5. That is odd. So I'll give minus sign. So minus y2 minus y. Right? Now come back here. Third row, first column. So 3 plus 1 is 4. Right? 4. So which is even number. So I'll just keep it as it is. x3 minus x2. Next. Third row, second column. So 3 plus 2 is 5. That is odd. So I'll give minus sign here. Minus x3 minus x1. Right? Minus x3 minus x1. Now here, third row, third column. So that is even. So I'll just keep that term as it is. x2 minus x1. Okay. So if overall, if you ask me, okay, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus. Like that, it is done. Okay. So what I will do, okay, this with the minus sign, okay. So what is cofactors of minus of A transpose? It is nothing but adjoint of A, right? So this is nothing but adjoint of A. Right? So I'll just write down this as adjoint of A is given by. Now I'll just copy this matrix as it is, right? So x2 y3 minus x3 y2. Now here, okay, so x3 y1 minus x1 y3. Here x1 y2 minus x2 y1. Then here y2 minus y3 and y3 minus y1. Here it is y1 minus y2. Then here it is x3 minus x2. Here it is x1 minus x3. And here it is x2 minus x1. Okay? So this is what we got as an adjoint. This is what we got as an adjoint, right? Is that okay with this one? Let me know. Is that okay? Right? Now we got this adjoint. We got adjoint. We require now, okay, mod. Okay, so let us do that. So here only we will do. Okay, here only we'll do. See, this is matrix A. So let us calculate its mod. So mod of A is given by, how to calculate mod of A? Okay, so term, right? 1, I'll just write down as it is 1. Okay, and inside I'll just write down. See, 1 I will write down as it is. This row, this column gets cancelled. X2 y3. Okay, so x2 y3 minus, see, x2 y3 minus x3 y2 minus x3 y2. Okay, so this is what I read. Next, minus x1 minus x1. See, this is minus x1. This row, this column gets cancelled. See, this row, this column gets cancelled. It is y3 minus y2. Okay, y3 minus y2. Next, plus this y1. Okay, this row, this column gets cancelled. Y1 for y1, this row, this column gets cancelled. But x3 minus x2. Okay, x3 minus x2. Right? So if I just simplify it, okay, what I will get is x2 y3 minus x3 y2, right? Minus x1 y3 minus plus x1 y2 plus x3 y1 minus x2 y1. Okay, so this is what I'll get it as mod of. This is what I get it as mod of A. Okay, so see, these are the values. Right? These are the values which we got. Right. So once we got these values, okay, what we'll do is we will resubstitute in this equation. Right? You can check it here. In this equation only we need to put for A inverse we should get. Right? A inverse we should get. Right, so we'll put that value in the A inverse, and then we will solve. Right. So what I will do, I'll just call this as, okay, I'll just call this as equation number, let us say 5. Okay, let us say this is equation number 6. Okay, now whatever adjoint we got, let us call this as equation number 7. Okay, and whatever this mod we got, let us call this as equation number 8. So we will put that, right? We will put that. Okay, so is that okay? Is that okay or not? We'll put it, okay, at the last. We'll put that at the last, right? Now let us start. Let us see. Okay, now what I will do, okay, this mod I will try to represent in terms of area. Okay, this mod I will try to represent in terms of area. So, okay, that you understand now. Okay, so I'll just redraw this diagram. Okay, I'll just redraw this diagram. Okay, let us consider. Okay, let us consider this x coordinate. This is y coordinate. Okay, inside which, okay, we have this triangle, right? Inside which we have this triangle. Okay, so this is a triangle which are having node number 1, node number 2, node number 3. Okay, which are having the coordinates. Okay, x1, y1. This is with the x2, y2, and this is with the x3, y3. Right. So these are the coordinates. These are the coordinates. Okay, these are the coordinates. Right. Now, see, I'm interested to calculate the area of triangle 1, 2, 3. Okay, what I need is I need the area of triangle. I need the area of triangle 1, 2, 3. Okay, so in order to calculate that area, what I will do is I will just divide this triangle. Okay, I'll just divide this triangle, okay, into different shapes. Okay, so let us see, okay, how I'm doing that. So what I have done is I have divided this triangle into, let us say, okay, 1, 2, and 3 shapes. Okay, I've just divided this into 3 shapes. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just call this as point A, this is point B, and this is point C. Okay, now see, if I need to calculate, okay, if I need to calculate area of 1, 2, 3, try to understand. If I need to calculate area of triangle 1, 2, 3, area of triangle 1, 2, 3, okay, what I should do is, okay, I should first calculate the area of, pay the attention, quadrilateral A13B. I don't understand. Okay, so in order to calculate the area of 1, 2, 3, okay, 1, 2, 3, I should calculate the area of A13B, okay, plus, okay, I will just calculate the area of, B32C, area of B32C, okay, B32C, okay, and minus area of, okay, minus area of A12C, area of A12C. I repeat, if you need to calculate the area of triangle 1, 2, 3, so this is a triangle 1, 2, 3. So for that, we will first calculate this area plus this area, okay, minus this area. Okay, I'll repeat. So in order to calculate area of triangle 1, 2, 3, we should add area A13B plus area of B32C minus A12C. So when you do that, we'll get the area of 1, right? Is that okay? Is that okay or not? Okay. So what we'll do, I'll just call this area of 1, 2, 3 as a delta. Okay, try to understand. I will call this area of triangle 1, 2, 3 as a delta. So it's given by, okay, so in order to calculate the area of this, okay, so what a trapezoid basically, okay, so what I'll do, I'll just, its area is given by half, okay, half, see, it is basically, okay, this distance into this distance, right, breadth into height. Okay, so breadth into height, right? So breadth we know, okay, what is that breadth here? It's a y1, see here, breadth, how will calculate breadth? Breadth is AB, okay, see for this one, if you just see this shape for this one, right, if you just see this shape, this one, this shape, okay, for which, okay, breadth is this, and height, see, we don't have exact height because this is one height and this is one more height. Okay, what we'll do is, Okay, we will just take the average. Okay, here height is y1 and here is height is y3. So we will take average. So that is half into y1 plus y3. Try to understand. So we'll just take the average of y1 and y3 because here height is y1, height is y3 here. So we'll just take the average of y1 and y3, that is y1 plus y3 by 2. And this side it measures, okay, it is x3 minus x1. See, this is x3, this is x1, so this measures x3 minus x1. x3 minus x1. Try to understand. See, height is y1 and y3. We don't have the exact height because it is varying. So we'll just take the average of y1 and y3. So this is y1 plus y3 by 2. It's the average. Okay, and what is this side? This side it is given by, okay, this is x3 and this is x1. So remaining is x3 minus x1. Okay, so let us do for this one. Okay, let us do for second shape. Similar, we'll take is y2 and here is y3. Okay, so we'll just take the average of y2 plus y3. We'll just take the average of y2 and this distance what? So this is x2 and this is x3. So it is x2 minus x3. Okay, so this is x2 minus x3, x2 minus x3, right? Similarly, we will do it here. So minus half. Now for this one, we need to do a1 2c. Okay, so height here is y1, here it is y2. So we'll just take the average, half y1 plus y2. Okay, and this AC, how much it measures? AC measures, this is x2 and this is x1. So this is x2 minus x1, right? So this is x2 minus x1. Let me know. Is there any doubt you are facing with this one? Is there any doubt you are facing with this one? Let me know. Let me know. Is it okay or not? Is it okay? So let us start doing it. So delta is given by half. Okay. Let us multiply it. Every term. Okay. So this is, see, y1 into x3 is x3 y1. Right? y1 into minus x1 is minus x1 y1. This is minus x1 y1. Then x3 into y3 is x3 y3. Okay. Then y3 into minus x1. So this is minus x1 y3. I'm just splitting it. Nothing else I'm doing. Okay. Plus this 1 by 2 I have already taken common. Now this I will do. Right. So y2 into x2 is x2 y2. Then y2 into minus x3. So this is minus x3 y2. Then x2 into y3 is x2 y3. Then this x3 into y3 is minus x3 y3. Minus x3 y3. Right? Similarly, this I'll do. Okay, how I'll do? y1 into x2. Okay, but this is minus sign and 2. So see, y1 into x2 is x2 y1. x2 y1 and this is minus. So this is minus x2 y1. Right? Similarly, y1 into minus x1. Okay, so this is minus x1 y1 and again this is minus. So plus. So this is x1 y1 plus x1 y1 plus x1 y1. Okay, next plus. Let us see plus or minus. Okay, see this x2 into y2. So x2 into y2 is x2 y2 and this sign is minus. So this is minus x2 into y2. See this sign is minus x2 into y2. Next, see y2 into minus x1. So this is minus x1 y2 and this is again minus. So plus. So plus x1 y2 plus x1 y2. Okay, so see all of you. Let us see how to check these terms. So this is minus. Okay. So let us check for each and every term. Okay, you can see this. This is minus x1 y1. Okay, this is minus x1 y1. Okay, and this is plus x1 y1. Okay, so this minus x1 y1 and this plus x1 y1 gets cancelled. Okay, this gets cancelled, right? Similarly, okay, if you see this is plus x3 y3. This is plus x3 y3. And similarly, we will have minus x3 y3 here, minus x3 y3. So this will again get cancelled, right? On the other hand, okay, let us see whether we are getting cancelled term or not. This is x2 y2, okay, plus x2 y2, and this is minus x2 y2. So this is again getting cancelled. Okay, So I will just now the rest of the terms which are remaining. Okay, so delta is by half minus x1 y3 minus x3 y2 plus x2 y3 minus x2 y1 plus x1 y2. Yeah, I'll just make it. Only I have written. Okay, only remaining terms I have written. Is it okay? Right. So now see, all of you just compare it. Okay, all of you just compare it. So delta is given by half into see x3 y1. Let us check whether this term, okay, out of how many terms, okay, of this expression are coming there. Okay, let us check it. x3 y1, check it. See, x3 y1, is it here? x3 y1, see, x3 y1, it is there, right? Plus x3 y1, check it. x3 y1, x3 y1, it is there. I'll just mark it. Okay, minus x1 y3, minus x1 y3. Okay, it is here, right? Minus x1 y3 is here. x3 y2, x3 y2. Okay, you can check it. Minus x3 y2, it is there. Minus x3 y2. x2 y3, x2 y3 plus x2 y3. You can check it. Plus x2 y3, it is there. Minus x2 y1, minus x2 y1, it is there. x1 y2, you can check it. x1 y2 plus x1 y2, it is there, right? Right. So you can see this term, it is nothing but this term, and this term it is mod of a, right? So I'll just write down this as into mod of a, right? Into mod of a, right? So that is the reason I told you I need to represent this area in terms of mod of a. So delta, it is nothing but area. Okay, what is delta? It is delta. It's nothing but area. So I'll just write down. If you need to calculate area, how will calculate? Area is given by half into mod of a. This is the expression which you need to remember, because on this expression only we'll be solving the problem. Area is given by half into mod of a. Okay, now what is mod a? See, what is a? You already know. See, a is this matrix. A is this matrix, and for that we need to take the mod. Okay, so that will give me the area. That will give me the area, right? Obviously, we'll be solving the problem on this. Okay, so from where I got this from equation number 8. Okay, so let us call this, okay, as equation number 9. So this is from equation number 8, right? So now let us put these values. Okay, let us put these values. So I'll just put it now. So see, all of you. Now I'll just write down the value for A inverse. Okay, I'll put the value of A inverse. So A inverse is given by, you can check it here. A inverse is given by 1 by mod of A, right? 1 by okay, mod of A, right? 1 by mod of A. And what is mod of A? Mod of A, can I write down this as, see, 1 by mod of A. Mod of A, I'll just write down this as 2 delta, right? I'll just write down this as 2 delta. Okay, 1 by mod of A. Okay, see here, if you write down area, it is known as delta, right? So A inverse is given by 1 by what? Mod of A. Mod of A is what? Okay, mod of A is given by twice of delta. Okay, twice of delta. Okay, you can check it into adjoint of, right? Into adjoint of. So what is adjoint of A? Before. Okay, we have calculated it here. See, here only we have adjoint of A. I'll just copy it. Okay, I'll just copy it as it is. Okay, so this matrix is copy as it is. Okay, that is nothing but x2 y3 minus x3 y2. Okay, y2 minus y3, x3 minus x2, then x3 y1 minus x1 y3, y3 minus y1, x1 minus x3, x1 y2 minus x2 y1, y1 minus y2, x2 minus x1. Right, so this is A inverse. So let me call this as one more equation. Let this be equation number 10. Right, A inverse we got. See, A inverse is 1 by mod of A, and Okay, mod of A, it is twice delta. So twice delta I put, and adjoint of A. Okay, so this is the value of adjoint of that I have written, right? Okay, is it okay? So this is what we got it as A inverse. Okay, now we have the A inverse. Now we have the A inverse. So that A inverse, okay, what we'll do is we will put it there, right? We'll put that A inverse there. Okay, so let us do that. Let us put that value. Okay, see all of you see here, just see here. Okay, so what we want, see all of you, we need to calculate this. See, A inverse, we'll put the value of A inverse here. Okay, so I'll just write down here now. C0, C1, C2 is given by A inverse. A inverse just now we have calculated, right? A inverse just now we have calculated. See, this is the value of A inverse. 1 by twice of delta. 1 by twice of delta to this thing. Okay, I'll just copy that. X2, Y3 minus X3, Y2. Y2 minus Y3. X3 minus X2. Then X3, Y1 minus X1, Y3. Y3 minus Y1. Okay. X1 minus X3. X1, Y2 minus X2, Y1. Y1 minus Y2. X2 minus X1. Okay, so this is the C0, C1, C2. You can check it. See, C0, C1, C2 is given by A inverse. So this is A inverse into what? U1, U2, U3. Okay, so I'll just write down into U1, U2, and U3. Okay, into U1, U2, and U3. Right. So now we have these values U1, U2, U3. So let us now calculate the value of C0. Okay, fastly we will write down the value of C0. Okay, so what I will do now is equal to C0, C1, and C2 is given by 1 by twice of delta. Now try to understand, this is very important. Instead of carrying this term, okay, what I will do, I'll just call them as alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3. This is alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3. This is beta 1, beta 2, and beta 3. And this is gamma 1, gamma 2, and gamma 3. Okay, into U1, U2, and U3. U1, U2, and U3. Okay, I'll just call this alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, gamma 1, gamma 2, gamma 3. Okay, now let us calculate this C0. So C0, value of C0 is given by alpha 1, you can check it. Alpha 1 into U1, see C0, how will calculate C0? Alpha 1 into U1 plus alpha 2 into U2 plus alpha 3 into U3 divided by 2 delta. So that I will only I'll write down. Alpha 1 into U1, alpha 1 into U1 plus alpha 2 into U2 plus alpha 3 into U3 divided by 2 delta. Right, C1 is given by, okay, beta 1 into U1 plus beta 2 into U2 plus beta 3 into U3 divided by 2 delta. Similarly, C2 I will get it as alpha 3 U1 plus, gamma 1 into U1 plus gamma 2 into U2 plus gamma 3 into U3 divided by 2 delta. Is it okay? Right? Alpha 1 U1. Okay. So what we will do? Okay, we will put these values. We now got the value of C0, C1, and C2. Right? So what is the purpose to got these values? We need to put here in the equation of U. Okay, so I'll put this value. So U is given by, it is C0 plus C1x plus C2y. Okay, so in this equation only we'll put. So U is equal to, okay, C0, this value I'll put. So this is alpha 1 U1 plus alpha 2 U2 plus alpha 3 U3 divided by 2 delta, that is C0 plus C1. So this is C1. Okay, so this is beta 1 U1 plus beta 2 U2 plus beta 3 U3 divided by 2 delta. Okay, this is C1 into X plus C2, that is gamma 1 U1 plus gamma 2 U2 plus gamma 3 U3 divided by 2 delta into y, right? So let us rearrange this. So u is equal to, I will rearrange in the forms of coefficient u1, u2 and u3. I will rearrange it in the form of coefficient of u1, u2 and u3. So it is given by alpha 1 plus beta 1x plus gamma 1y divided by 2 delta into u1 plus alpha 2 plus beta 2x plus gamma 2y divided by 2 delta into u2, okay, plus alpha 3 plus beta 3x plus gamma 3y divided by 2 delta into u3, okay. So what I will get, I'll get this as u is equal to n1 u1 plus n2 u2 plus n3 u3. See, these two equations are one and same. I have just rearranged in the forms of coefficient of u1, u2 and u3. Okay, so here you can see the coefficient of u1 is alpha 1. Okay, here coefficient of u1 is b1 beta 1 into x. Here coefficient of u1 is gamma 1 into y. So that is what is written upon 2 delta into u1, right? So where, okay, where what is n1? Where n1 is given by alpha 1 plus beta 1x plus gamma 1y divided by 2 delta. Similarly, n2 is given by alpha 2 plus beta 2x plus gamma 2y divided by 2 delta, and n3 is given by alpha 3 plus beta 3x plus gamma 3y divided by 2 delta, and these are called as shape functions. These are n1, n2, n3. They are called as shape functions. Okay, have you understood this one? Let me know. Have you understood? Okay, so see all of you, what is the use of this equation? U is equal to n1 u1 n2 u2 n3 u3. As I told you before starting the derivation, okay, if I give you the displacement at node 1, similarly if I give you the displacement at node 2 and displacement at node 3, and if I ask you what is the displacement at this particular point, okay, and that point which is lying inside a triangle, okay, so if you need to calculate anything, okay, which is lying inside the triangle, and if the values at respective nodes are given, then that term you can calculate by using this expression. Is it okay? Let me know, is it okay? Yes or no? See how we have started? We have started writing the approximate solution. C0, C1 and C2 were unknowns which we are supposed to calculate. Okay, so for that we impose conditions, and with that we have written one equation. Okay, we want C0, C1 and C2, so this term we are bringing it here, so this becomes inverse. Now okay, we need to calculate inverse of that matrix, so we have called that matrix as A. So how to calculate inverse of that? It's 1 by mod of A into adjoint of A. For calculating adjoint of A, we required cofactors of minus of A transpose. So we have that calculated that, and we got adjoint of A. Similarly, after calculating adjoint of A, we have calculated mod of A. We have calculated, right? Now what we done? We have calculated the area of this particular triangle, and that area we used to call it as delta. So how to calculate this area? Area of this shape plus area of this shape minus area of this shape. So that will give me the area of 1, 2, 3. So that area I have calculated. Okay, and that this term which was coming into this area, it is given by same of mod of A. Okay, it is same as mod of A. So that I written as a mod of A. So mod of A is given by twice of delta. Okay, now this mod of A is given by twice of delta. That value I put here. Okay, mod of A is twice of delta. Okay, into adjoint of A. Okay, this matrix I have written as it is. So I got this matrix. That means I got inverse of matrix, right? I got inverse of matrix. Okay, now this inverse of matrix Okay, I put it here. Okay, in this expression here. Okay, so 1 by mod of A is twice delta into adjoint of A is this one into this one, right? So from that, in this expression, I called some term as alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, similarly beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, gamma 1, gamma 2, gamma 3. So I got the value of C0, C1 and C2. Okay, and once I got this value, I substituted this equation values in this expression. Okay, so I end up with one equation. Okay, and in this equation, what I done? I club the terms having coefficient u1, then club the terms having coefficient u2, and club the terms having coefficient of u3. Okay, out of that, I call this as n1, n2, and n3, where n1, n2, and n3 they are shape functions. So is it okay, all of you? Is that okay? You understood this? Yes, you can respond. Right? So see, what we'll do today, we will conclude this session, and in the next session, we will take the problems based on it. So when we'll take the problems, at that time, this concept becomes more clear, right? So this is basically the derivation which we are taken. And in the next session, we will start with the problems which are based on 3-noded triangular.